There's a moment every gardener dreads, when you've done everything right, dug in rich compost, watered well, planted with care, and yet the soil still feels dead. No worm activity, no dark crumble, and worst of all, plants just sit there, barely growing. The surface might look healthy, but underneath it's hard, dry, and strangely lifeless. It's a common problem, and compost alone isn't always enough to fix it. The truth is, compost, even when well made, doesn't always bring dead soil back to life. Why? Because compost isn't a microbial starter, it's a nutrient source. If the microbial population in your soil is severely damaged, compost can actually sit there like a sealed pantry, full of food, but with no life to access it. That's why some gardeners are shocked to find their compost amendments sitting in dry clumps weeks later, unchanged. The microbial bridge is broken, and unless that's restored, even the best compost won't transform soil the way we hope. So how do you fix it? The answer lies in two overlooked but game-changing ingredients: fermented leaf mold and barley-based biochar. These two materials, when used together, act like microbial CPR. One introduces a thriving fungal ecosystem, the other houses it permanently. Together, they jumpstart soil biology in a way that even worm castings and manure can't match, especially when dealing with compacted, post-construction, or chemically damaged soils. Let's start with fermented leaf mold. Leaf mold on its own is already an excellent soil conditioner. It's made by allowing leaves to break down slowly, usually over a year, until they become soft, dark, and fungal-rich. But when you ferment that leaf mold, using a bit of molasses, water, and thyme, you create something even more potent. Fermentation wakes up dormant microbes and encourages rapid fungal dominance, which is exactly what lifeless soils are missing. Fungi are the architects of the underground world. Unlike bacteria, which multiply quickly and die off just as fast, fungi build structure. Their hyphae stretch through soil particles, unlocking minerals and feeding plant roots directly. Dead soil often lacks this fungal web, and compost alone won't rebuild it. But fermented leaf mold, rich in active fungi and their enzymes, can reintroduce this ecosystem almost overnight. Apply it as a moist mulch, or work it gently into the top few inches of soil, and you'll notice a dramatic difference in texture, moisture retention, and root growth within days. Now let's talk about barley biochar. Not all biochar is created equal, but barley husk-derived biochar has a particularly high surface area, which makes it perfect for housing microbial colonies. The mistake many gardeners make is adding raw or inactive biochar directly to soil. That won't help and can even make things worse by locking up nitrogen. But when you charge that biochar by soaking it in compost tea or fermented leaf mold extract, it becomes a living, breathing microbe hotel. The porous structure traps moisture, protects beneficial organisms from heat and drought, and provides long-term refuge where microbial life can multiply safely. Combining these two, fermented leaf mold and charged barley biochar, creates a synergistic effect. You're not just feeding the soil, you're building its immune system. It's like giving your soil a permanent self-renewing dose of probiotics. When you apply this mix, microbial life doesn't just appear for a few days and fade away. It settles in. It reproduces. It invites worms, breaks up compaction, and supports the complex exchange system that healthy roots need to thrive. Apply this blend once, and you'll notice the soil becomes darker and spongier within a week. Apply it twice, and you'll start seeing fungal threads stretching across your mulch. Plants grown in this revitalized soil often experience rapid growth spurts, not from synthetic inputs but because their root systems are finally in sync with the biology below. Of course, water matters too. Dry soil can't come alive. Moisture is the trigger that activates microbial communities, especially in amended soils. After applying your fermented mix, water deeply, but only in the early morning. This gives both microbes and plants a full day of warmth to absorb and interact. Avoid watering at night, which can cause anaerobic pockets to form, especially in heavy soils. If your soil has stayed dead for seasons, even after repeated composting, this approach may be the breakthrough. The problem wasn't the compost, it was the lack of a living, breathing microbial network to activate it. By bringing in fermented leaf mold and biochar, you're giving your soil the one thing it actually needs to come back: life. And the best part? This solution is regenerative. You don't need to keep applying it every month like chemical fertilizers. Once your soil life is restored, it begins to feed itself. Leaf fall, root exudates, and mulch start cycling nutrients naturally. Over time, you'll find that plants grow faster, resist pests better, and require less watering. So, if you've been struggling with tired soil that won't bounce back, stop relying on compost alone. Feed the biology, restore the network, build a living foundation, not just a nutrient-rich one. That's the difference between soil that supports life and soil that only looks alive from the surface. If this guide helped you rethink how to treat dead soil, don't forget to subscribe to Soil Doctor. We're here to dig deeper, literally and scientifically, into what really makes soil thrive. Share this video with fellow growers who are stuck in the compost trap, and together, let's rebuild the ground beneath our feet, one living microbe at a time.